Time now for sports with Scott Breen.
Yeah, welcome back, everybody. A couple weeks ago, I ran a story on the outrageous Super Bowl ticket prices. Not long after, got a phone call from a Billings veteran who said he agreed. And he would certainly know. Richard Schultz was at Super Bowl I, where they could barely give away tickets.
For some reason, it was free. But for some other reason, I think I might have had to pay $10 for a ticket.
Safe to say the cost of a Super Bowl I ticket was nowhere near the outrageous prices on today's secondary market. The average there is over $5,000 a ticket right now. Here's how Schultz was even in position to go.
Well, I was in the Marine Corps, and I was waiting to go to school. And I was wandering around Oceanside, California, and I went in the USO to get a free cup of coffee and a couple donuts. And they had a sign up or a line up that said, you want to go to a football game? The bus leaves in an hour or half an hour or whatever. And I said, well, I'm not doing anything else. I might as well go to a football game.
He remembers an hour-and-a-half bus ride up to the Coliseum in Los Angeles. Schultz had gone to college back in Minnesota and says he could sit in corner end zone seats at the Vikings games for $1. So naturally, he had no idea the event he was about to witness would become so iconic.
And that was no big deal. I mean, going to a pro football game was not a big deal. And going to what they called the first playoff game, wasn't even the Super Bowl yet.
That's right, January 15th, 1967. It was billed the first World Championship game, AFL versus NFL. Packers were champions of the National Football League. Chiefs won the American Football League. Then they settled it in L.A. Only later did they retroactively call it Super Bowl I.
We got a ticket, a program, a Coke, a hot dog, and a seat cushion. I saw a thing on TV once on Antique Roadshow or something, that the only thing that was worth money from the thing was the seat cushions.
And Schultz says he didn't keep any of it.
And my ticket, as soon as I sat down, it was on the ground.
But here's what really struck him as strange.
We all had to sit on one side of the stadium, and if you watch the tape, they show it every now and then. There was a couple places they filmed from our side of the stadium over, and there was not a soul over there. And they wouldn't even let you walk over there. They had guards in the end zone that wouldn't let you get past the end zone.
The attendance is listed today at just under 62,000, and fans there hardly knew they were watching future Hall of Famers. Chiefs coach Hank Stram, players Buck Buchanan and Len Dawson. And for the Packers, coach Vince Lombardi, Paul Hornung, Ray Nitschke, and Bart Starr. What people don't realize is there was actually all sorts of animosity between the two leagues. A lot of fans and media thought because the NFL had been around, it was clearly superior. But the Packers only led 14-10 at break, and unlike today, the halftime show wasn't much to remember.
UCLA's band or USC's band, and it wasn't a big deal. I mean, it wasn't a big production like it is now.
Packers forced a turnover early in the second half, scored 21 straight, and went on to win the game 35-10. Quarterback Bart Starr was the MVP, and Vince Lombardi had his first big championship. Interesting TV note, this game remains the only Super Bowl aired by two networks. NBC had the rights to AFL games, CBS had the NFL rights, so both were allowed to televise it. And afterward, both networks actually erased the tapes. That's right, the only reason you see video today, and it's rare, is thanks to NFL Films, which spent months scouring archive footage. Then they stitched it together like a jigsaw puzzle. 145 pieces of film, one for every play, according to a senior producer at NFL Films. Though Schultz admits it wasn't a big deal at the time, reflecting now brings a smile.
There's not that many people that can say they'd been there or were there, and I was there. I just was a PFC in the Marine Corps, took a free trip.
One more interesting note, by the way, cost of a 30-second commercial back then, $42,000 on both networks. Today, a 30-second spot starts at $5 million.